What's up, guys? Welcome to the final Aunt Connie approved live stream of 2023. First off, I want to thank everyone who is here and appreciate you spending your time with me. And it looks like we already have a fairly difficult question. Alyssa, she asked, she's hoping to go to China to meet up with a business partner next year. She wants to take the whole family. That includes her husband and her three kids. Is it reasonable to consider first or business class redemptions? Alyssa, that is a tough question because I've never flown an award flight to China. I know if we're talking about where are we talking about in China? We're talking about Hong Kong or Macau or anything. Um, that might be a little simpler. We're going to get to your question here in a few moments. But if you are here, I want you to consider Alyssa's question: is 5 tickets reasonable for first or business class to China? Before we get that to the answer to that, we've got John in the house, Mr. Matt Welter, fellow creator, good one. Check his channel out. Keith S., big time friend of the channel. YouTube experiment. We got Matt McGrath. I think he's driving home from work, or he skipped out of work early. One of the two. We have the one and only Mr. Chad's Money Minutes. I know you guys already know him, but this is just another reminder. Go check his channel out. Very different perspective than most of the guys in our space, and he walks the walk as well as talks the talk. Philmo, been around a lot lately. Appreciate it. Guys, Alyssa is going to Shanghai, and I think that might make things a little more complicated because I was thinking of Hong Kong, where you could probably grab some Cathay Pacific flights. I've never looked at flights to Shanghai, so I think that might be a little bit difficult. Stephen Lynch is a longtime listener, first-time caller. Well, Stephen, we appreciate you coming by tonight, and hope you have a good time. Feel free to chime in. Jean-Philippe Herteau, how you say your last name? Herteau. That's the French ones are very difficult for me. But hello, sir. Google Keith S says Google sweet spot Shanghai or whatever airport to Shanghai, and there should be some articles. I think it's challenging. I think you picked a very challenging endeavor, but I think you can do it. Pardon me. Ben Upright loves the channel. Thank you, sir. Thanks for tuning in. PG, my man, Boricua, all that good stuff. My Puerto brother. Scott LeRae. Guys, if you have not watched Scott LeRae's Travel Connect channel, check it out. He's the only one that I know of that's doing all this stuff in Africa. He's doing all the traveling, all the kind of city and country reviews. He's really opened my eyes up to several places in Africa, and I really want to meet him there someday. John. Okay, John's talking to Matt Welter. I won't interrupt you guys. Ryan Rich is sitting in, is that Palm Beach International? Well, I hope you're in a lounge. And if you are not in a lounge, Ryan, I hope you are not being pestered by Adam J's kids. If there's 2 or 3 kids with Kool-Aid stained faces and snot running down their nose and probably no shoes on, yelling and screaming, then those are probably Adam J's kids. I recommend finding some lounge space if that's the case. Big Jim's American Dream, one of the coolest names I've ever seen. Everybody that I know knows a Big Jim. And now we know another one. Lynn's Rideshare Hustle. We still meeting in Tokyo 2024. About that, Lynn's Rideshare Hustle. I am not going to Tokyo on October 22nd. It's a very difficult time period during the year for me to plan that ambitious of a trip. And I'll tell you why. Trick or Treat is that following Sunday, and I cannot miss Trick or Treat. So that flight would only give me 4 days in Tokyo. And if it's on time, I would be home for Trick or Treat. So I can't take that chance. My boy will be 8 by then. Trick or Treat's a big deal for 8-year-olds. So I'll try to see if I can figure something else out, or maybe earlier in October. But right now, I don't have a flight scheduled. How to find business class from California to Fiji? I feel like California is the easiest place in the continental United States to find flights to Fiji. Air Tahiti, KLM, Flying Blue, Air France has flights there. Um, use the Google machine. Oh, Ryan says the lounge closed at 7. He's roughing it. Well, yeah, that's kind of early. I mean, all right. Oh, Sendo's here. He usually gets here when we're all done. Well, I might stay up a little bit late tonight. We'll see. I say I will, but I rarely ever do. Yeah, Alyssa's gonna check out the Google machine and see what's up. If anybody else has any kind of input for 5 award flights and business are first to Shanghai, it's not an easy one. John says it's an awesome sweater. I need a smoking pipe. I would do a cigar, but not in the house. But this is my grandpa's sweater. I had a really cool grandpa. Not actually his sweater, but that's what this is. Keith S coming in with the super thanks. Uh, starting a collection for Adam J in the pop-up prison. Thank you, Keith S. You are always very, very kind to the channel, and we appreciate you. Matt McGrath says, anyone fly to Costa Rica? Here's who you need to ask about flying to Costa Rica. Costandinos, Points and Miles. He has a YouTube channel. He's an American citizen, but he's from Greece. And he travels to Costa Rica quite a bit. His wife may be Costa Rican. I'm not really sure, but he flies to Costa Rica quite a bit. And he flies from AID or IAD, Washington Dulles International. And I think it's Star Alliance flights. So I always see a lot of you can do Air Canada. I think you can book Star Alliance flights to Costa Rica from a lot of different places on the East Coast. Keith S says, speaking of Amex, I'm tired of Amex and their new policies and changes. Keith S, tell us about it, man. We are all a little weary about it. Hit, comb your hair and come back in about 5 minutes. Okay. All right. Guys, we will have time for 2 questions for Carlos. He's going to comb his hair. His hair is getting really long, but he will be by to answer 2 of your questions. If we can have him ready, he can come in and answer. We can get him out of here, get him watching an 80s movie. Tonight is 80s movies nights downstairs. He watched Gremlins a couple of days ago. Yeah, Keith S., we're all really not enjoying Amex's new procedures and where they're headed. John Wick says, happy holidays. Does Chase allow buying hotel points to hit minimum spend? Yes. I have a spend video. It's done pretty good, but it's a little bit old now. But I almost always start a lot of those subs off with buying hotel points. Chase also allows bank account funding. And why that is so, I don't know if we're supposed to talk about that or not. I know some of the elitist gatekeepers say you shouldn't talk about that. But I think the last Chase bonus I met was the World of Hyatt business card. And I funded a U.S. bank checking account for $3,000 and finished that off like that. And basically you fund the bank account, and then you can pay the card off with your checking account. It's pretty easy. But I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a secret or not. I don't care. But yeah, I don't buy World of Hyatt points ever. I don't ever remember seeing any type of deal or a purchase price that made sense. But IHG, always, if they're on sale for 100% bonus, I'm buying $1,000 worth. I think you can get 200,000 IHG points for $1,000. Yes, I'll buy those every year. Lynn's rideshare said he found the 150,000 platinum offer, but he got pop-up jailed. Sorry to hear that, Lynn. Keep trying. You might slip through there. Call them. If there's a code or something for the 150K offer, call them and see if you can get by that way. Scott LeRae says Costa Rica was one of the first countries he traveled to. And I bet he used some type of Star Alliance or Avianca points. Matt McGrath, Costa Rica with Copa, 25,000 business class. That's not bad. Economy business class on Copa isn't the best. I mean, if it's not a super long flight, Business class is nice, even if it's not the best. Jeremy Moore, good evening. Big Jim's American Dream, over the top. Big Jim. I like it. Uh, the Rascals, can you do a tax deduction on the Amex Platinum since your business is reviewing the cards? Um, that's I've had that conversation with my accountant before, and I don't think we talked about the annual fees on consumer credit cards, but we did talk about if you were to do like hotel reviews, flight reviews, those are definitely tax deductible. I've not deducted taxes from consumer cards, but you can deduct a portion of the business cards for sure. The annual fees on business cards, for sure. But if to answer your question on just the American Express Platinum card, I don't know, but I don't think so. Even if you are reviewing them, Jeremy Moore changed the Bevy card. Oh yeah, the American Express changed the Marriott family cards. It's going to be more difficult for a while. They're really closing the loop on all these bonuses and sort of things that we do to exploit those terms. Black Jedi, hey Luke, do you think the Amex Gold would be a good card for someone who spends $150 eating out a month and maybe 250? If you're only spending $250 in groceries a month, I don't think so. However, if you can easily, without even trying, get value for those credits, and you can make that annual fee less of a burden, then it could be worth it. In my opinion, the American Express Gold Card is for someone who can one get value from those food credits every month easily, and two, someone who is spending a lot on that card. That sounds like a really low spend to me. I would probably go with maybe a Capital One Saver One, or maybe something else. I wouldn't spend $250 for that low a spend. Put it in perspective, I spend more than $1,000 on groceries a month, and I'm probably going to get rid of the American Express Gold Card in favor of something else. Vince S says you can almost deduct anything as long as you have enough revenue. Okay, yeah, and just obviously, I'm not an accountant and I'm not qualified to give anyone tax advice. I don't deduct those as expenses for my channel for this business. I don't do that, but if somebody else is doing it. Ezra G says, is funding a bank account with a card not a cash advance? In my experience, funding a US bank account, checking account with a Chase card has not been a cash advance. I've gotten awards for it, and it has counted towards my minimum spend. I know some cards will likely code as a cash advance, and that won't be good for you. But the Chase cards I've used, that's not the case. Sendo says he was using that same technique. Bo Noonan, he's traveling tomorrow with his boys, connecting in Charlotte. He's about to terrorize an Admirals Club. Last year for the card. Well, good, man. I hope those boys terrorize it and hoop and holler and run around and all that good stuff. Matt McGrath was approved for the Chase Inc. Cash, and he's over 524. That's awesome. Myself and Chad's Money Minutes, we had a run last year or this year, end of last year, beginning of this year. I think each of us were approved for 4 or 5 or 6 Chase cards way over 524. So it definitely is. There's some cases where that 524 may not apply as stiffly as with somebody else or in other situations. Stephen Lynch wants to know, what is going to be your strategy moving forward with Amex after canceling the Platinum card? Just got the Gold card. Here's the thing, Stephen Lynch. I'm going to put a video out this weekend or at the very beginning of 2024 with my 2024 strategy, and there'll probably be a separate video with just my strategy concerning Amex, because it is changing. I kind of advertise this live as answering the question, am I moving on from Amex? So Amex has always been my primary card, the cards I used. I was a Amex trifecta, and a heavy Hilton user. And I'm going to be moving on from that. I think we're going to start with the platinum card, and we may even move on to canceling the gold card. And to make it a kind of a clean sweep, I don't think I'm going to downgrade to the green card. I think I'm just going to cancel both of them. And I also think I'm going to have to make some decisions with my Hilton setup. Right now, I have 2 Hilton Aspires, and I won't move forward with 2 Hilton Aspires. I also have the Hilton business card, and I think that one I'll be done with just completely. I don't think because I can't downgrade it. So I am going to be downsizing the collection, getting way under on the annual fees, and I'm going to be moving my strategy less towards the benefits of credit cards and more towards just the points accumulations. I think I can do just as well with just the points. I don't need the free nights or the different perks. I think I can do really well with just a massive amount of points. So that might be where we go in 2024. Frank Malavi, Kaluma says American Airlines, Miami to Liberia via British Avios at Liberia, Costa Rica. That sounds like a great idea there. Keith S. got globalist today. Let's everybody have a round of applause. Keith S. got globalist with Hyatt. Keith, did you get tricked into doing it, or did you actually get it by staying at so many Hyatts? E-Dog tuning in from Sam's Club. Nice. I have had a Sam's Club membership. I don't have it anymore. Scott LeRae says, hit that like button. Let's do it. Ezra G says the channel's growing. Any plans for that growth? Change in channel structure, the way you go about content? The channel, the growth is slowed in the last year. So I think what that means is I probably should change the structure just a little bit. At least lately, I've been doing a couple videos a week plus a live, and I don't think I can sustain that. And I've thought about hiring an editor to get some more fancy stuff. And every time I bring it up, I get a few comments saying, hey, listen, we don't watch your channel for fancy edits. So that might not be the best, way for you to go. And that does make sense. I'm not the fancy edit guy and the really super special looking videos. I'd rather be known for the content. All right, guys, we have a special visitor here. This is Carlos here for Questions with Carlos. He has time for two questions if you want to drop them in here. And I'm going to come back to this, to these comments. Filmo says, Carlos. Is Carlos a Cincinnati Cyclones fan? We don't know who those are. We don't know who they are. We're from Columbus. We go to the Bengals games and sometimes the Reds games, but we're not true Cincinnati people. Reds or Bengals?
Bengals.
He's a big-time Bengals fan. Big time. One more question for Questions with Carlos, and he can get on to 80s movie night. Carlos, are you a hockey fan?
Not really.
We don't even know what hockey is.
Not kind of.
We've never really watched it.
We kind of.
We have a team here, and they're pretty terrible. Scott LeRae wants this onesie. NASA. He says, no way, buddy. Get up here. One more real quick. Carlos, Nick Kid or Cartoon Network? You don't watch cartoons.
Yeah.
He's never watched cartoons. He watches YouTube. Go figure. You want to say hi?
Hello.
All right. Bye-bye.
What you laughing for?
Because it's fun having you up here.
I forgot to turn my bathroom light off.
Okay, go turn it off. All right, let me get back up. No, shut the door. Let me get back. I apologize. It took a little bit longer but the boy loves Questions with Carlos. And who am I to deny that, right? So yeah, the channel. Yeah, I think I'm gonna continue with what I'm doing. I just need to get a little better at it. And I at some point I have to sit down and maybe take a break from just creating content and figure out a better strategy. But you're right. I mean, it's slow growth is growth. So I shouldn't be too concerned about it. So I'm not sure if I want to make any major changes right now. I would like to get some of that streaming software the other guys have, and maybe have somebody to come on the stream that I can argue with. I think that might be fun. Ryan Rich stayed 35 nights at Marriott. And is it worth it to get the Brilliant or Bevy just for the elite nights? Here, just to get platinum status. I think with Marriott, and I say this coming from a perspective where I have not gotten a ton of value from Marriott as a program. I think you're either all in or you're all out with Marriott. I think if you're going to be Marriott and you're going for status with Marriott, you get the business and you get the Brilliant and you go all in. You shove all the chips in the center, and that's where you stay. And you can do that with Marriott because there are so many properties. And they have the best. I think they really do have the best properties. But I have just not, when I was kind of doing my thing and staying at different places, I just was having trouble finding a lot of value with Marriott points on the higher end. Lower end, I got a lot of value, but I started to really like staying at higher end places. The Rascals. Does it make sense to get the Built card if you don't pay rent? That's a tough question. I like the transfer partners. Yeah, American Airlines and Hyatt, big league, big time. If you get 3 times done, I had to pay an annual fee. Here's where it might not make sense. You're not paying rent. You're not getting a bonus. Even if you are paying rent, a lot of people will argue that paying that rent in an unconventional way is probably better suited for getting sign-up bonuses. I love the Built card. I love the potential of what it does, but if you're not paying rent, that's a tough one for me to apply for. I mean, if you're at the end of your line, you got 40 cards, and this is the only one you don't have, then maybe, yeah, go ahead and get it. But I don't recommend it to people that don't pay rent, and I don't have it. Not that it's not a great card, because it is. That's probably the best answer I can give you, since I don't know exactly your situation. Jeremy Moore says the Saver One is a sleeper card from Capital One. I just got it, and it really is. I'm glad I put it to use, I think. Scott LeRae says, back when my grocery bill was $800 a month, he was using the gold. Now his kids are out of the house. His grocery bill was much lower, and he goes with the City Premier. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I think the gold card is the family grocery card. And it may even lose some points to me with the dining aspect. 4 times is awesome, but I can't use it overseas. I know a lot of people will argue and say they've never had any trouble, but I've had nothing but trouble. I don't even use American Express cards at restaurants overseas at all. I don't even pull it out. So it's a great card, but when your situation changes, it might be time to move on to a different card. Citizen Zero says, if I cancel my platinum card, what do you think my lounge access will be like domestically? What other cards do you have? I'm going to cancel the platinum, and the only thing I'm going to miss is the Delta Sky Clubs, which I haven't flown Delta in a really long time, and then Centurion. If you want to do the work and dig into your Priority Pass, you can find a lot of lounges in the Priority Pass network. And then if you want to tailor your travel through that network of lounges, might not be possible, but I don't think it's a crushing blow not to have access to the Centurion lounges, unless you fly Delta a lot. If you fly Delta a lot, keep that platinum card forever. Dugras here from Dugras Reports. It says, good evening. Do you have any IHG cards? I do have the IHG Business Premier, and I think it's a keeper card. I'm really starting to be a big fan of IHG properties, both on the budget end and on the higher end. And when I went over my travel for 2024, I think I have the most IHG reservations right now. So yeah, I have it. Don't plan on getting rid of it. The free night kind of makes it worth keeping. And it's a business card, so I like to keep the business cards kind of right where they are. Millis Construction's in the house. Good evening, sir. The Platinum OG says, welcome to Team Chase. I I have more Chase cards than Amex cards right now, but I don't know if I'm going to be using my Chase cards that much more. And yeah, I'll explain that sometime in the future. Luke, any plans to visit the Capital One Lounge in DFW in 2024? Yes. I've been there a few times and I will definitely be there in February. Um, and I wanted to mention my 2024 travel schedule. And I guess this is as good a time as any to mention it. These are kind of the trips I have booked so far. And remember, I cancel almost everything I book 5 times before it kind of solidifies. But in about a week, I'm taking my dad on a trip, and I haven't really talked about where we're going because I don't want him to know because he doesn't know yet. So after next week, I plan on doing talking about that a lot because I think it's gonna be really fun. But we are doing an international trip in about a week. In February, I'm taking Carlos to Dallas to watch the Dallas Mavericks against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We've never been to a basketball game together. He's in basketball right now, so kind of trying to encourage that whole thing. I'd really like for him to be a basketball player. So I'll be at DFW Lounge in February. March is my anniversary, so it's more than likely we'll schedule something, even if it's just an overnight. Uh, April, spring break, we're going to Grand Cayman at the Sapphire Resort. It's an IHG property. It's super awesome. But we're going to Grand Cayman. In May, we're doing our European trip where we go to um, the Netherlands, Malta, and Switzerland. And then the second half of June, we're going to take off. July, we're going to be at the Conrad in Fort Lauderdale, taking the wife, my boy, and her two Charlie's Carlos's brother and sister. We're all going to the Conrad, so we have all that, and I think that's it for now. So that's all I have for now, which is quite a bit until until July, and I think I need a break after that. So yeah, Bo, I am going to be at the DFW Lounge in 2024 because I love that lounge. I can't. I know I sound like a shill, but that's probably my favorite domestic lounge, and it's great. And Keith S., you're right. The Chase Inks are great. Matt Welter says Alaska has direct flights to Costa Rica from the west side. Millis Construction says he seems like a major exception to most credit card styles on YouTube. He uses Marriott almost exclusively, and he really Stan the Credit Frog is a all-in Marriott guy. And they, like I said, I've always thought they had the best properties. I just had trouble finding a lot of value on the higher end, like at Ritz Carltons and W's, and just kind of wandered over to Hilton side. Mer7 with the super thanks. Thank you, sir. He says, is it possible to upgrade from the everyday preferred card to the gold card? Was looking into it and I wasn't sure. It is not likely to be officially upgradable to that card. One of them is a credit card and the gold card is a charge card. So they're not, you can't upgrade them. But if you call them, I think what they may do for you is they may cancel it as well as apply for the new one right there on the phone. They've done that with me in the past with cards that weren't interchangeable. I think I wanted to cancel a business gold, and they wanted me to accept a blue business plus or blue business cash instead of the business gold card. So while that wasn't directly downgradable, they were going to cancel it and reapply right there on the phone. If if and that's not much different, really. Andrew Mitchell travels a lot for work. A Advantage Platinum Pro, but largely due to spend on the co-branded City card. Wonder if it's worth sacrificing status to earn on other cards with better multipliers. I think most people will say unequivocally, absolutely yes. It's probably not worth spending on the American Airlines credit card unless you have an extravagant amount of spend and you have enough to go around. But I think you would do a lot better with that spend with sign up bonuses and transferable currency cards. I don't even think it's debatable. Vince S. QQQ. No, would it make sense for Amex to shake off the weak hands before doing some really good revamps for the cards? Listen, I I have to. I'm one of those guys where I kind of know where I am in the food chain as far as brains, and I know the people in Amex have way bigger brains than me. So I think they are de-risking. I think they are probably getting ready for um, a credit crunch and maybe some folks having difficulty paying their credit cards down. Um, and they're definitely not interested in using those huge sign up bonuses to promote customer acquisition right now. So they're downsizing, de risking, and they're making it difficult for us to play the game. I think it's temporary. However, if you're in sign up bonus mode, this definitely changes your strategy. I don't see it as a bad thing. I think American Express is still awesome. But yeah, if that answers your question. Oh, Matt asked if the Bengals will make the playoffs. The Bengals are not going to make the playoffs, Matt. But the cool thing about the NFL is they list the opponents, most of the opponents for the next 4 or 5 years. And next year, we have the LA Chargers in LA, and we have the New York Giants in New York. So Carlos gets to go to at least 2 away games a year because he wants to go to every NFL stadium before he graduates high school. So he's going to get to go to that SoFi Stadium next year, which is cool. But no, the Bengals are not making the playoffs. If they do, we might go, but I don't know how I feel about going to a playoff game and using those resources to watch our backup quarterback. They're not going to the playoffs. All right. Let me see here. Yeah, Platinum OG cartoons were something that we watched, man. These a lot of these kids do not. He's never watched. He watched Paw Patrol for about 2 weeks when he was like 2. Doesn't watch cartoons. Never has. Sledge Inc. team is in the house. Everybody knows Mr. Sledge. If you don't, go check him out. He's got a great channel with a great perspective, and he is a guy who walks the walk as well as talks the talk. Oh, Keith S. spent to get globalist on his business Hyatt too. Okay, so man, I think Keith, man, they might have got you. They might have tricked you into that. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say it's probably worth it for you. But for most people, Hyatt does a very, very good job of getting you to do things you know you shouldn't do for their status. Beginning of the year, people were reserving dummy bookings and paying $100 a night for 10 nights. They were paying for nights they weren't staying just to get that globalist. Baffled my mind when I heard people talking about it. And then people made videos about it. I spent 5,000 Hyatt points a night for 12 nights, and I got but I didn't go to this hotel. Yeah, I don't know, man. I do stay at Hyatt's a lot. I'm going to be staying at Hyatt in New Orleans for our next creator meetup. So I do like Hyatt, but I definitely see that marketing works because they get people to do things they shouldn't be doing. Uh-oh. Sorry, I messed all this up. Okay. Millis Construction says he closed out his last Marriott stay for the year, ended with 105 nights. That is big league. And yeah, if you're doing 105 nights, you're going to have some really good status. And Marriott definitely has good status. I don't know if it's the best, but I think they have the biggest footprint and the nicest properties. So kudos to you, man. I don't think I would want to stay in hotels that many nights in a year, though. Scott says Marriott upgrades in Africa are great, as well as Hilton's. Sledge had 33 nights at Hilton. I want to say, I think I had the most nights at Hilton, but I had the most bookings with Hyatt in 2023. And I talk all kinds of smack about Hyatt, but I still stay there. Sledge says he has the built card. He does not pay rent. He said it's not worth it. So, and Sledge is a guy who will apply for anything. Not talking smack, but he has a ton of cards. If it has a benefit, he's aggressive. He'll go after it. And if he says it's not worth it, You have to take that in consideration because he knows what he's doing. Yeah, and YouTube experiment says you can get built points with your other credit cards. Andrew asked, do you value KLM or Virgin points more? Built has transfer bonuses on January 1st. That's a tough. I have a lot of both of them. I don't know which one I value more. I would probably, if I had to pick, I'd probably pick Virgin. They both got devalued just a little bit. Um, I think Virgin might have a couple more options with the ANA deal. Um, so I would probably go with Virgin. I wouldn't. I really do stress now, though, not to transfer those points speculatively unless you have a redemption you want to execute right now. Because I have transferred a lot of points speculatively with the thought that I'm always going to use these points. And I don't like having 150,000 Virgin points tied up. I don't like having 150,000 British Airways Avios tied up sometimes. They're going to be used, but I definitely do not recommend transferring them speculatively. Oh, Sledge says he was at the DFW Capital One Lounge a couple weeks ago, and there was a waiting list. Oh, say it ain't so. Sledge, please tell me you went to the Turkish Airlines Priority Pass Lounge. That's another one at Washington Dulles. The Turkish Airlines is a lounge, is in a Priority Pass network. It's pretty good too when that sort of thing happens. Centurion at DFW sucks. It's always crowded. Jeremy Moore, how do you have so much time to travel with work? Do you have that flexibility? No, I don't have that flexibility. People ask me that question a lot, and it probably seems like I travel a lot, and I travel often. But if you really watch the channel and you listen to my trips, I do a lot of really short trips. For example, I am doing 4 days on this trip in a week. That's a long one for me. It's even an international trip. That's 4 days. When I take my son to Dallas, it's one night. When we go to Grand Cayman, it's 4 nights. So I do a lot of trips, but I do a lot of really short weekend type trips. I do get paid time off, but no, I don't have that flexibility. I work a regular square job, and I'm a 9 to 5er. I never stop. So if I can get a day off, we're jumping on a plane and going somewhere, and I'm getting back as fast as I can. So I guess the thing is I just don't have a bunch of downtime anymore. But no, I could use some more flexibility. The Rascal says Grand Cayman is great, but be careful with your credit cards. He got his number stolen there. Okay, we'll keep an eye out for that. Dugras reports Dugras is going to be using his Player 2's IHG free night in January. I like that. At a Kimpton. I have a couple different Kimptons reserved, and I'm really excited about that because the Kimptons I've seen, especially the one in South Beach in Miami, they're great. They're awesome. Definitely on par with a lot of the higher end competitors. Vince S. What do you think is the best business hotel card right now? Do you like the Surpass card for 170,000 bonus? The best business hotel card right now. That's a tough question. Will we have the Marriott, the IHG, and the Hilton? Do we have any other business hotel cards? I hate to even say it. The Marriott one is good. It's really good. I think the IHG one might be better. And it depends on where you stay. If you stay at one of those, then I think those both are really good. I think the Hilton business card is good if you can put that $15,000 spend on it. If you're not going to put $15,000 spend on that card, don't get it because I don't think it's worth it without that free night certificate. And if $15,000 seems like a lot of money to put on your hotel credit card, then don't get one. But yeah, Surpass, 170,000 bonus right now. Yeah, I like that card. I think that card got better. That's an unpopular opinion. I think it got better, and I think it can be worth a ton of money. And I'll tell you one reason why, and then I won't ramble on too much about it. The Surpass card gives you gold status. So if you stay 20 nights at Hilton's this year, you might get $50 a day in food and beverage credit for being a gold status member. Nobody ever factors that in on the value. But I can tell you, I use that food and beverage credit every time I stay at Hilton's, every time. And I think the more you stay, the more valuable it gets. So yeah, the Surpass card is good. Sledge. I want to go into an AA flagship lounge. I don't think I've ever seen a video on them either. I know my man Point Blank's Travel uh, has been to a couple AA lounges, and I think one of them he wasn't really impressed with, but I don't think it was a flagship lounge. Citizen Zero. I think Virgin has crazy surcharges, and I have a feeling some big devaluations are coming. Virgin has big surcharges if you fly into the UK. I don't think they're the best currency to use to fly into the UK. Virgin, you can fly to Japan. Virgin, you can fly on Delta domestically for cheaper than what Delta charges. So there's a lot you can do with Virgin. For me, Asia Miles from Cathay Pacific might be the best, aside from American Airlines, to fly into the UK. So a lot of little things like that. But yeah, I wouldn't fly Virgin to the UK. They'll kill you on surcharges. JP Knowledge is in the building. Thanks for bringing us all credit card YouTubers together this year. It's been a fun year. Hey, man, we did it in Vegas. We had a great time in Vegas. And if you guys are listening, they're putting together another trip next Labor Day weekend in New Orleans. New Orleans happens to be my family's favorite city, so I think I just have to go. But if you are looking to meet up with like-minded nerds like ourselves in a really cool, fun place, that might be your jam. What's up, JP Knowledge? Thank you for stopping by, sir. Himu. Yo, Luke, great video on canceling the Platinum. Surprised to hear you've never been to an Equinox. I hope he hopes I'm not working out with Adam and his kids. I'd never heard of Equinox until the Platinum card had that credit. And I've been at commercial gyms, but I've never lived in New York. I've lived on the East Coast, but I don't know how long Equinox gyms have been around. But I would not pay whatever that Equinox gym costs to work out there anyway. I'm more of a dungeon gym type guy. Dr. Vinny Boombats loved the Conrad experience. He's Hilton all the way. Yes, sir. The Conrads are, oh, man, it's an experience, man. It's a lot of fun. I will be back in July. I love the Conrad. MR is in hotels 100 to 150 nights a year. It's nice until it isn't. Yeah, I just work with the season of life I'm in. I couldn't travel like that. I got to be around the boy, and all that fun stuff. Lynn says Conrad Tokyo was meh and near impossible to find. Lynn, here's a question for you. Tokyo, which is a better place to stay, the Conrad or the Hilton in Shinjuku? Is that what Shinjuku? Is that what it's called? The Hilton that's in the neighborhood east there. Mike Lee, should I skip spending on the AA card to be gold? I'm $3,000 away from gold and based in DFW. Mike Lee, I have a video. It's about maybe a month old about getting American Airlines status and some tips and tricks you can do. You don't have to spend $3,000. You can use the AA shopping portal and the Simply Miles program to get that easily. I have a follow-up video coming out in maybe a week or two. I just got gold over the holidays by using those two programs, and it was pretty quick. So when I put that video update out, look for that, because I'll show you exactly what I did over the course of 40 days or so. Vincent Pascal mentioned before that he has a Chase card. Expiration date is 5/24. In this spirit, can we designate May 24 as 5/24 month? How would you celebrate 5/24 month? How would I say? By applying for a Wells Fargo card I would celebrate it by applying for someone else's credit card because I don't pay attention to 524 much. Vince S. Does the bill or any other card work for HOA fees? From what I understand, folks report that the HOA fees are getting, uh, they are using their bill card for HOA fees. He hates putting 5 digits a year on HOA and not get it. I mean, you don't pay your HOA with a credit card anyway. I just paid my HOA fees yesterday with a credit card, and I think it was just a nominal fee. But yeah, you can use the built card for that, from what I understand and from what folks have been reporting. Does anyone know if the Amex Lounge in DCA is close to finishing? Which Amex Lounge? The Centurion? I don't know. Nobody flies into DCA. I guess unless you're going to DC. If you're just connecting there, it should be Dulles. I thought you were ex-military and have free annual fees. I don't have free annual fees. I didn't have any American Express cards or Chase cards when I was in the military. And I've been out for 23 years. So they probably would have started charging me by now. I'm an old man. My military thing was I was a 90s sailor. So that shows you how old I am. Hyatt has a business card. It's not very good. I have it. And the truth is I may even keep it, but I doubt it. Yeah, Sledge is like me. We do a lot of short trips. Yeah, short trips, very minimal planning. Just how do I get there and what I might do when I get there and how to get back. Wyndham has a business card. Yeah, it's best not to stay at most Wyndhams with it. I don't stay at Wyndham's, so I have not put a whole lot of energy into reviewing that card or learning about it because I don't apply for Barclays cards. Oh, well, man, I don't know how to say your name. Abdiel, trying the Conrad in Orlando late January. I think you're going to like it. That's a great time to be in Orlando, as far as I'm concerned. Brad Groover. Now that the Amex Platinum is canceled, now I haven't actually canceled it yet. But what's the new main travel card? I'm going to go to CSR. That's the question. Here's my choices. Sorry. I have the Venture X, and I think it's simple to use and easy to use. I also have the Ink Preferred, 3 times on travel and has some protections and things like that. I also have the City Premier, not any protections and not really a full service travel card. But this is basically my 2 front runners. Do I keep the Capital One Venture X and make that my focus as far as a travel card? Or do I change my Chase Sapphire Preferred to a CSR? If not the CSR, do I just change it to a Freedom card and keep the Venture X? Those are the things I'm kind of wrestling with now, and I should be putting out pretty soon as far as material wise. So those are the choices, really. It might be a CSR, it might be the Venture X. I know the Venture X isn't a super duper travel card, but I do have smaller travel cards that could kind of help it out. Bo Noonan's been to some flagships, Chicago and Miami. Private dining, pretty solid. I like that. Donnie Cox, Kimpton, Margate, Sydney. Wow. I would love to see that. So from what I understand, Kimpton's can be very nice. And I have at least one, I have 2 scheduled this year. So hopefully I can report on that. I can't wait for the Kimpton is the Sapphire Resort in Grand Cayman. If you haven't seen my video about that, it's under my maximum value redemptions series. You can get insane value for your IHG points at the Sapphire Resort at Grand Cayman. Some of those rooms are crazy expensive. They're 70,000 points. So check that one out. Beefy Brian booked Virgin one way to Rome via LAX for 12,000 points and 150 bucks. That's awesome. That's economy, I'm assuming, but still, it's awesome. If you can do it, if you're young and you can do economy, I think that's the way to go. Rich and Michelle Failer. Luke, have you considered applying for the AMEX green card prior to canceling the platinum? I've had the green card. I had the earlier iteration of it, not this current iteration. But when I got it when it was a 45,000 MR bonus, and I think I kept it 2 years. I canceled it. I've thought about downgrading the platinum to the green just to have another 3 times travel card. But the question with me is, do I go nuclear on Amex? Do I just completely obliterate my relationship with Amex and go in a completely different direction, or do I slowly whittle it down? I almost think that ripping the band-aid off might be the best idea. Equinox is the glitter gym. No deadlift platforms or chalk anywhere. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be. I can't say I wouldn't go to one because I do like the dungeon gyms, and then there are days when the glitter gym does kind of fit what I'm doing, but not very often. The Rascals for Shinjuku go for Park Hyatt. Well, uh, I don't have any Hyatt points. I don't think right now. I actually had to tap into my wife's Chase points to book the Park Hyatt in Zurich. Really, really excited about that. Glenn Ardonia, the big league international Filipino security expert, is in the house, and he is a Capital One Venture X guy, world traveler. Tough to beat what Glenn Ardonia is doing these days. Everybody say hi to Glenn. He's also a veteran of the United States Navy. He's pretty big time. Keith S says, is 100 viewers a record? No, we hit 100 almost every time for short periods. I think, but not much more than that would be a record. I think we've done low hundreds, like maybe 105, 106, but I appreciate it. Over 100 viewers, guys. That's awesome. I know everybody's busy, especially this time of year. Catface Enthusiast says, how was your HIV treatment been going? But I don't have any idea what that means. What? It's like, so, are you talking my HIV treatment? I don't know. Maybe a troll or maybe just a joke I don't understand. TH. I executed that for summer 2024 Kimpton Cayman. Thanks to me. Almost 8 cents per point. TH, you did a solid job booking that. 8 cents per point, and plus I hear it's super, super nice. I can't wait to experience that. Can't wait to take my family to the 7 Mile Beach. So, when I find those sweet spots, I'll continue to do videos on them. Marsha Millington, she's a Kimpton fan. Working her way through DC Kimpton, stayed at one in Paris. So awesome. Looking to book the Barcelona. Man, Marsha's killing it, man. We need to get some tips from Marsha. Obviously, she's an IHG fan, a Kimpton fan. She's got the scoop, man. Wong Wei says the Park Hyatt's nice. John giving Glenn Ardonia the salute. You don't have to salute him. Jeremy Moore is a veteran of the United States Navy, 10 years. Very nice, sir. I think Glenn did, 8, 9? No, he did something like that. I did 6. So together we got almost a career. Vincent says the Equinox experience is like having the Amex Platinum. Pristine facilities and equipment, nice amenities, bunch of coupons. Great if you're willing to pay the fee. Well, I mean, I'm not. I don't have one anywhere near. I think we just hit I think 106 is the highest we have ever achieved. So congratulations there, guys. I think that is our PR, our personal record. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Atomic Rooster says, how do you find these deals? He has a lot of points, but no idea how to find these deals. Well, we have 108 now. Atomic Rooster, that's the work, man. I mean, it is work, and it is a challenge to earn them. It's a challenge to learn how to execute these redemptions and to redeem them. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of the blogs, things like that. I can't remember how I learned about the Sapphire Resort in Grand Cayman, but I just read it somewhere, went and checked it out, and I said, yeah, this is right. So I booked it as soon as I found out, before it goes away. You just have to do plenty of research. You got to do plenty of reading. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Sledge's channel, Chad Money Minutes' channel, JP Knowledge's channel. Also, I forgot, JP Knowledge actually has a service where he can help you find these, or he can somehow do it for you, or it's a paid service. But if you are interested, get a hold of JP Knowledge. DM him, or JP's on here right now. Maybe he can tell you how to get a hold of him for something like that. But he has a service where he helps people use their points and miles for redemptions that are over the top awesome. Perfect guy for you, man. See, we're bringing folks together. Lance Jones, any chance you'd keep the Amex Gold to pair with the Venture X? That's a good question, Lance, but I just got the Saver One. And if I'm being really honest, I got the Saver One to replace the American Express Gold Card. Will it do that? Will it actually fulfill its destiny? Not sure yet. But that's why I got it, to take the place of the Amex Gold Card, because I hate those stupid credits. Beefy Brian says Delta had a sale for their Auckland flight, 40,000 round trip from the West Coast and main cabin. It's a long flight and economy, man. But like I said, if you're younger and you can handle it, that's badass. Ryan Rich, Luke, what's your Skyline order? I don't eat Skyline, but unless I'm at the Bengals game. The Bengals have Skyline now, and I think it's just two whatever it is, hot dogs with chili and cheese, like the whole thing, onions, 2 of those. So, and that's only if it's cold out. But I do like Skyline. I just don't never really get a chance to eat it, but it's pretty good. JP Knowledge says, I think the CSR is overrated. The Venture X is a better version of it. JP might agree with me, man. I love the CSR, but I don't understand where you come up with the additional $250 in value, if not from using the coupons that everybody complains about with the Platinum Card. But there's no way anybody could convince me that the coupons on the Platinum Card aren't better than the coupons on the CSR. I don't know. I think it's a good card, but I do think you're right. It is overrated, and everybody forgot about it until about 6 months ago. So I'm not sure if it's just trending just for the hell of it, or there's something, because it hasn't gotten better. So I don't know. There are a couple users of the CSR that will make a case, though. Maybe they'll chime in here. Jeremy Moore says he'd love to go meet the creators this year. He's a big fan of RJ. I like RJ. I personally invited RJ to Vegas. It got him out of the house. RJ is a cool dude. Yeah, we met him in Vegas. So, and I think he had a good enough time. He might go to New Orleans. So pay attention. I'm not sure who's organizing it this year, but it's not just meeting the creators, but you get to put a face with these names. And, we do these lives, and these are kind of conversations with each other. And you get to meet the people, who you're conversing with online. It's really fun. I think everybody had a good time. Wong Wei, what do you think of those annual fee glitch award travels? Were you aware, and did you try to book? Are you talking about with Air France? Yeah. If you're not familiar, Air France published a bunch of mistake fares with points. I think folks were 2,500 points for flights from North America to France and all this crazy stuff. People booked them, and then Air France canceled them, returned their points. I always thought if you had a mistake fare, they had to honor it. Maybe that's in America. I don't know. But I do know that Air France did at least one good thing. I guess you could say good thing. If you transferred like your Amex MR points to Air France to book those, they transferred them back for you. I mean, that's the least they could do. I feel sorry for those people who kind of, if you find a mistake fare and book it, I think that's just like, that's your price, man. I don't know. I think that should have to stand, but I'm not sure. I don't run a business like that, so I don't know how much that would hurt them. Brad Groover. Oh, he's talking to JP. JP will hook you up. David Capitalize likes the stream. Guys, if you like the stream, hit the like button. always hit the like button. That's kind of how we get our push on YouTube, I think. What's the points? My P2 isn't as into the aspirational travel or the fuss of traveling in general, especially when there's no good kitchenette. Any suggestions? Okay, I think this is kind of universal. My player two didn't think it was that big of a deal until you put them on a first class or business class international flight, or you put them on a beachfront suite with a hot tub on the balcony. Do something big league and really hammer home, hey, we did this because we put in a little bit of work. Um, and if they still don't like it, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Some people just don't appreciate those nice things. And that's just different personalities, I guess. Ryan Rich says Sapphire Lounge helps, but don't know if that's enough to justify the CSR. If they had a big network of Sapphire lounges, it would be a lot more appealing. Just like if they had a big network of Capital One lounges. The Rascal says the $300 annual credit on the CSR doesn't require you to use the portal, unlike the Venture X. True. But we're talking about such a small, and I don't want to sound like I have a bunch of money because I don't. But when you're talking about $300 in a year for travel, we're really talking about a really small amount of money. You book one round trip ticket on the Capital One portal, and you still get to put your loyalty number in the reservation. You still earn airline miles. You still earn, towards status. I don't think using that $300 travel portal credit is a very big deal. Atomic Rooster says he's done with annual fee cards. Probably keep the platinum one more year, then unload it. Okay. Research how to open up a Blue Business Plus or any no annual fee MR point earning card, and then you can cancel the rest of them. Keep that no annual fee card open, and your points will be good forever. But I'm with you, man. I am leaning towards no annual fee cards or lower annual fee cards. I think the $95 ones are small enough for me not to really give. It doesn't really notice or comes up in the balance sheet much, but the $600, $700, $800 ones, they do. JP says his exact feeling of the CSR Venture X is easy to cover the annual fee. Amex takes work, but you can get more value than the fee. You're right. And the CSR takes work, but you don't get any crazy value. I will admit, if you're only doing economy domestic travel, you can probably take a lot of the work out of the equation by just redeeming through the portal for 1.5 cents. But if you're going to do that, nobody will ever kind of follow this logic. If you're only going to do domestic economy trips, you can get 5% cash back on almost everything. If you're only doing domestic economy and you're spending $100,000 a year, I would like somebody to do the math where how much cash back can I get with $100,000 a year versus how many travel points at 1.5 cents per point? I bet the cashback system setup beats it. I bet it does. And you don't have to travel. So if something happens, you're not stuck with a bunch of points. Yeah, MR says if you find a glitch, don't tell anyone. I won't. Sorry, guys. I will right after I book it. Brandon Clark says the CSR does have coupons like Amex with the DoorDash and Instacart, but I feel like finding value from Instacart is easier than some of the other cards on Amex. I will counter that and say I won't use Instacart if it was half off, because the only time we've ever used Instacart was when we got a couple free uses on the CSP. They don't bring you anything you order. They substitute everything, and they say, oh, they don't have buffalo. And you can go right over there and go, right there's the buff. Right there it is. I hate Instacart. It doesn't work where I live. If it works for you, man, I'm jealous. But Instacart is an absolute zero for me. Maybe if I was just one person and I'm ordering, some peanut butter and some bread, that might be right. But if you're ordering $250 worth of stuff, you're not getting 80% of it. But you're getting 80%. You're not getting 20% of it. CSR needs a refresh. Jeremy, I think you're right. Brandon Clark mentions the restaurants on Priority Pass. That's absolutely valuable. I think there's 36 of them or 38 of them. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I'm sure most of us can get a lot of value from that. David capitalized. The only thing keeping him with Chase is Hyatt. That would not be keeping me with Chase, but Hyatt is definitely a valuable transfer partner. And I do transfer tons of. I looked at my little statement thing on the website today, and I've redeemed over 800,000 Chase UR points this year. A lot of them went to Hyatt for the all-inclusives and the suites and things like that. The thing with Hyatt is when I transfer to Hyatt, I'm not afraid to spend. I don't get the 12,000 point minimum room. I go click on the suites and I get the biggest thing I can find. Filmo is headed to San Antone. Is that how you guys say it? For an NBA game. Got to fly Southwest, so it's not all glitz and glam. Hey, man, if Southwest gets you there direct, that's awesome. I'd love to go to San Antonio for an NBA game. Can't wait to go to the Mavericks. The Rascals, he hates using the portals. Everybody does. Sledge booked his first Kimpton this year. Very nice, sir. I hope it's as good as everybody says it is. Vince S. going to be 424 for a year. Already have most cards in need. Should he be maxing out the number of Chase business cards for SUP? Absolutely. If you're eligible for Chase Ink cards, you should be getting them in just about any scenario. Those cards are valuable enough, and there's no downside. There's no annual fee. You can get tons of them. I don't know if I would really push that, but what I mean is you can get more than one. You can get more than one per business you have. But yeah, definitely. The Chase business cards are they're the reason why this is a game. I think they're an entire game unto themselves. It's such a valuable tool. Pad City Premier is the best annual fee card. Only because you can downgrade to a City Custom Cash after a year. Hey, yeah, I mean, this is my take on the City Custom Cash. I think it's overrated. I think it's awesome if you're using them towards thank you points in a category you can get close to that $500 a month in. This is why I say that. 5% cash back. There's 100 cards that get 5% cash back on something. I use it for gas, and I find myself only spending $250 to $275 a month on gas between the two of us. That's not really something that moves the needle when you're talking about 5 times thank you points. And I love thank you points, but I don't know if it's worth an entire account, an open account and an application just for that. If I can find a better way, maybe I'll change my mind. Yeah, Keith S. says doesn't the CSR get priority pass restaurants? Yeah, and that's a great feature if you can use it. Mostly Free Travel says, darn it, I just realized this was happening. If you guys have not checked out Mostly Free Travel's Instagram, definitely do it. She posts tons and tons of valuable points and miles and travel information. Welcome, Mostly Free Travel. Lance Jones, the Venture X having limited number of lounges with you canceling the platinum. What's your strategy for lounge access? Well, the Venture X doesn't really have a limited number of lounges. They have Plaza Premium and Priority Pass lounges. And if you're willing to do the work to find those premium or Priority Pass lounges, there are actually quite a few. And a lot of places do have a decent substitute. But I'm definitely going to miss the Centurion lounges and the Sky Clubs. There's no way to get around that. That's a high quality benefit that I'm going to miss. David Ruiz is late. Hey, David, we just hit a record 108 viewers. So you're right on time, my brother. Jeremy Moore with 100K spend, 5,000 bucks earned. With 100K and 1.5, it's 15. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if you did the math with some of your chase cards that are getting 1.5x, 2x, 3x, I'm willing to bet that 5% cash back is very competitive in that overall scenario. JP Knowledge loves the Instacart. Wong Wei says the best no annual fee travel card is the Wells Fargo autograph. The Wells Fargo autograph is so. Here's the thing about the Wells Fargo autograph. It was a Wells Fargo Propel card, and it was very, very popular for a very short period of time. Then it fell off. Then the autograph came out, and most of our Propels turned into autographs. And it had a couple peaks where people were interested, but now people are very interested. But it's been around for a long time. Not in its current iteration, but it's been around for a while, and people are just now, getting curious about it, getting interested because they're bringing transfer partners. I have to admit, I'm really, really excited about what transfer partners Wells Fargo brings. Not because it's Wells Fargo, but because it's a new player. It's good for us. Oh, Brandon Clark has a good point, man. If it's maybe if it's smaller grocery stores, might be a better experience. You might be right, but I will never know because I will never use it again. Ryan Geiger, does slowly reducing your AMEX cards include your 2 Aspire cards? I don't have a final decision yet, but at one point I was going to go nuclear and either downgrade or cancel both the Aspire. I'm sorry, both the Aspires. But looking at my back half of 2024, and I just booked a Hilton resort in the front half, so I'm probably going to be able to use those credits. I think I may keep one of those Aspires because I do love staying at Hilton's. I do love staying at Conrad's, and I do get value from those Aspire cards. So I haven't made that decision yet, but I'm not going to carry on with 2 of them. David William definitely wants the City Premier and the custom cash. I think it's a great 1-2 punch. Hopefully 80K points would come back. That's what I got, I think, last year, or maybe it was this year sometime. Yeah, it was this year. I think it's a great card, and I think if things go bad with an issuer, and City is your secondary or tertiary issuer, I don't think you're in bad shape at all. Matthew, Wisconsin. Do you think the Hilton Aspire is worth applying for if you already have Hilton Diamond status? Sorry, my mustache is itchy. I need to trim it. That's a great question, Matthew, and I don't know the answer to that. I think it still prints money. I don't think there's any debating that. But if you have Hilton Diamond status because you pay cash for hotels or because you stay there so often for work, I might not get the Aspire card. I might not, have a need for it, but at the same time, it's still one of the best credit cards on the market. Take out the Diamond status, it still prints money. I think, if you staying at Hilton's enough to get Diamond status naturally, you're going to be able to use those credits most likely. So yeah, I would get it. I'm also very aggressive and I get every card I can. Oh man. 29.94 is a big Southwest flyer. Still, I can't help but crack up your Southwest. As soon as I saw Southwest, I said, oh no. Southwest, here's what I'll say about Southwest. Now, I'm sorry, my nose is itchy. Since you have probably never heard me say anything positive about Southwest, let me say this. I sent my wife and my boy down to Orlando this year on Southwest. They said it was a great experience. They said the attendants or flight attendants were awesome, over the top, nice and helpful. The plane was super clean. I flew to Vegas on a Southwest flight because they had a direct flight. Cleanest plane I've ever been on. Full flight, but super clean and newer plane. Now I'm done. That's my positive Southwest. Which Ryan Geiger said, which Hyatt all-inclusive did I stay at? I stayed at the Dreams Riviera Maya, maybe. Something like that. Hyatt's buying all kinds of all-inclusives in the Caribbean. Man. And I really never reviewed that property or talked about it much, because I will have to tell you, I was not blown away. And I do have some, I'm not in love with some of the things about all inclusives, and some of the common things like the food wasn't very good at all. But value was there. I got a suite with a really big room, hot tub on the balcony, right on the beach. Uh, Value was definitely there. 214,000 Hyatt points, I think, but it was three of us. So I'll do it again for sure if I can rack up those points again, which pretty sure I can. Uh, yeah, David Capitalize likes the Alita Ventura and Big Sur. I hear that a lot. I have no intentions of ever staying there, but I hear it's great. Do you fly a lot of Delta? What's the best way to redeem Sky Miles? I don't fly a lot of Delta anymore. I wanted to, and I had plans to make Delta my main, you know, uh, my main thing, and they're either too expensive or they canceled my flight to Cancun one year, and I really got mad at them, which I shouldn't take it personal. But I'm a bargain flyer now. I will take the flight that is the cheapest. The best way to redeem Sky Miles is always the deals, the Sky Miles deals. Go to the website and punch in Sky Miles deals. Hopefully, they have your home airport there, and sometimes you can find really good deals. Usually, it's economy, but I think one year I flew everybody down to Miami from Columbus, and it was 10,000 Sky Miles round trip each. That's a great deal. That's a good use of Sky Miles. I wouldn't earn a ton of Sky Miles though, unless you fly Delta exclusively. I don't think they're very good currency. Longway said they turned his Propel card into an active cash. I know some people did that. That's unfortunate. Well, I guess you get unfortunate because now you can get the bonus on the autograph. Yeah, mostly free travel brings up that she can't wait until they announce the Wells Fargo transfer partners. And yeah, she brings up they do have a couple. They've been teasing a couple business cards. It would be really nice if those business cards complemented the points earnings. Wells Fargo has the opportunity here, man. They really do. We got Jesus in the house. Jesus, happy birthday. Um, I kid. I don't mean anything by that, Jesus. Luke, the trick to getting close to 100% of what you order from any grocery store delivery is placing your order no later than 9 a.m. Okay. Or place it for the next day. Okay. I remember that. Probably not going to do it again, though. But yeah, I'll definitely, if I become disabled or sick or something, I'll keep that in mind. Or if I get divorced, God forbid. Miami has a good Priority Pass restaurant. Brandon Clark says it's really good. I know Houston has a couple. I know there's a lot of good ones, but I'm curious how busy they are and if it's tough to get in there to actually use your credits. Samuel Armstrong says they used Amex points for the first time for a first family trip to Gaylord Palms. I'm officially a points guy. Amazing experience. Big time move, Samuel. Good job, especially taking the family. Pad also says Premier is a good option if you just want one card. That's true. Great categories. Ooh, Sledge says his annual fee just hit on his Aspire, still $450. I don't think it changes until 2024. So yours hit just at a really good time. Black Jedi just got 50,000 point bonus to transfer my gold to a platinum. Had to bite the bullet. Yeah, I don't mind that. Ditch the gold. You know what? If I were to cancel my platinum and then call or chat to cancel the gold and they offer me $50,000 to turn that gold back into a platinum, probably do it. 50,000 points is 50,000 points. I can live with those stupid coupons for one more year. Philmo says he jokes, but player 2 just got the Southwest Business Card. They're going to get the Companion Pass. The Companion Pass is 100% the best benefit in the game. It just is. It's I can't believe it's still around. It's awesome. Bubba Bubba Fifi's oh, Bubba Fist. Any word on Hilton business card changes? I think they're coming, but I don't know when. Here's why I do really think they're coming. If you look at the website on American Express for the business Hilton card, it says it earns 12 times on Hilton's and 3 times on everything else. You actually have to go to the terms and conditions to see the 6X categories. So I think that's a tip that the whole thing is going to be changing. And I'm not real optimistic on what the changes might be. Yeah. Crespo says the Hilton free night certificates make the Aspire worth it for them just by itself. And it's true. The only counter I have to that is I had to actually look where to put those certificates this year before they expire, because I wasn't staying at anywhere that had really big high level fees or prices. So I ended up just using 4 free night certificates for our Conrad Fort Lauderdale trip. I originally had booked them for really high price, $1,000 a night hotels, and I canceled that trip. So for those free nights, it was kind of a chore for me to find where to stick them. But normally I wouldn't have that problem. Thanks for doing this. No problem, sir. Appreciate you stopping by. We've still got 106 people here, which is kind of topped out from where I usually am, and kind of holding strong. So, guys, I appreciate it. If you would do me one favor, slap that like button. And thanks for showing up tonight. Stephen Lynch, with a clear credit on the Amex Green be enough value for me to downgrade your plat? In the absence of 2 Aspire cards, it might be, but I have 2 Aspire cards, so I don't know. The green card, I think, pays for itself with clear because I do value clear. And the travel transit categories times 3, it's really hard to find that, anywhere. It's so versatile. 3 times on dining as well. So a lot of good options there. And Amex offers would make it really nice as well. So, yeah, there's a chance. I have a lot to figure out, a lot of moving parts, but I don't think I'll be leaving the table with a green card when it comes down to that. So we'll see. RV took his chances, got denied for the Inc. business card. He's at 524, but dropping down to 424 in February. Can I make a case by calling Recon? 100%. Call them no matter what, even if you can't make a case. Call them. If not, which business card should I apply for? Unless you have a lot of spend coming up, I might wait until February to get the Inc. card. If just take a chance that bonus is still around. If not, there's a ton of really great business cards out there. Anthony Fantino just got the Amex Business Platinum with a big offer. Oh my goodness, guys! Stan the Credit Frog just gifted 10 Luke's Points and Miles memberships. I don't know how you redeem those. Oh, it looks like they're just going allocating to people. So if you get a membership, you're in for it, because next week I will be publishing a maximum value redemptions video that will only go to members, at least for a few days. So you guys will have access to those videos before everyone else. And some of those, not all of them, some of them might have time-sensitive material that you can go book. Thank you, Stan the Credit Frog. Stan is, if you have not watched Stan's channel, it's blowing up. He has a different way of seeing things and a different way of disseminating this information. And I think his channel makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. Very analytical, very real, if you can call it that, for lack of a better adjective. But check out Stan's channel. It's blowing up. He'll be the next Ask Sebi. So you heard it here first. But I'm sure everybody's already been watching it. Oh, JP Knowledge has a good point. If the best way to redeem Sky Miles is to not touch the US. Biggest example is maybe Mexico City to Paris. You're going to spend a lot less Sky Miles when you don't touch the US. And that's not going to be possible for everybody, but he does have that's a really good point. Oh, Wilex19 booked Cape Town, South Africa on the Q Suites. Excellent redemption, sir. Thanks again, Stan the Credit Frog. Guys, if you got a membership, Stan, you're a big deal, man. Thank you, sir. Brandon Clark says he's been at 3 different Priority Pass restaurants in Miami, Seattle, and San Fran. Each time he was seated within 5 minutes, $28 per person. That's awesome to know. Great benefit. And it's if you eat like me, I could probably get that value back from the restaurants for real. The Atomic Rooster wants to know what's up with the global entry. Takes forever to get a response for your initial application. It's been like 6 months for me. Well, Atomic Rooster, Carlos has global entry. We got him global entry. We put the application in, and upon returning to Columbus from Mexico, the TSA guy took him aside, did his little interview, and got him hooked up. So it's a huge pain in the butt. And for some people, it won't ever even do them any good. We've entered back in the country a few times with no line whatsoever, but there's going to be that one time, like for me in Dublin, Ireland. Dublin has the customs on their side, and the line was an hours long line, and I jogged through it, jogged right past it. Stick with it, man. Get the you have to wait 6 months, wait, and then when you can get your interview, get your interview. It'll be worth it. Trust me. I think after that, you don't have to interview anymore. Just renew it. Brad Groover, Luke, if you had to start fresh, knowing what you know now about the game, what 5 and only 5 cards would you have in your wallet? All right, first 5. I hate the sound. I have to do Discover. I'm sorry about that. The Discover It is my first one because with no cards, I'm probably not going to get approved for anything else. So give me the Discover It. Boring. Next one, I'm going to go. I hate to do it, but it's Chase Freedom Unlimited. Okay. The next one is going to be the Chase Ink Preferred. The fourth one is going to be the Chase Freedom Flex. The fifth is going to be the Chase Ink Unlimited. So I'm going to hit 2 of the unlimited or the ink cards for 90,000 MR point or UR points a piece. No, 190 because the Chase Preferred. I'm sorry, the last one's going to be the Chase Ink Cash. So at the end of this, I'll have the Discover, Freedom Flex, Freedom Unlimited, Chase Ink Preferred, which is my travel card, and Chase Ink Cash. I'm money. That's the best first 5 credit cards. And then I think I'll end up getting the Ink Unlimited before I even look outside of Chase. So boring, but that's probably what I would do. Chase Yokoyama. He is back in the States. I think he was in Japan or globe trotting all over the world. Says, what's up, Uncle Luke? Chase, missed you, man. You didn't send a postcard or anything from Japan. Hope it was fun, though. It's raining memberships. Thank you, sir. John McKinstry, good evening, sir. The Rascals have never had a time where the return to the U.S. didn't have a huge line. Global entry is worth it for sure. I've had a couple, and maybe I'm just lucky, but when you do run into that huge line, like when I came back from Dubai and Chicago, I walked past everybody was going to customs. I just walked over here and stuck my face in some monitor and kept going the other way. I mean, it saved hours. It was truly worth the pain in the butt. And we got ours during the pandemic, but we had to drive all the way to Kentucky to do our interviews. So we took a day, took off work, drove down there. It's a hour and a half drive, hour and 45-minute drive each way. but I think it was worth it. Random Judoka. CSR restaurants are nice, but Capital One Venture X in crowd knows how to take 10 sandwiches, grab the grab and go counter for the rest of the trip. You got a point there. You should not leave there empty handed. John saying hi to Chase Yokoyama. Guys, if you haven't checked out Chase Yokoyama's channel, 100% go check it out. He too has a completely different delivery than the rest of us. He's got that Hawaii West Coast chill vibe. So definitely check him out. I've met Chase a couple different times. Super good dude. Going to be a big deal on the YouTubes. Philmo says he's only been on one international flight so far, but the global entry was worth every penny. People were sleeping in the customs line at ATL. That global entry, I think, separates the amateurs from the pros. If it's amateur hour and you don't have a global entry and you're just, I went to Europe. The pros have global entry. The pros know exactly what to expect when they come back. And the pros have a better time with that stuff that sucks, like coming back into the country. Yeah, Chase says it's clutch. Yeah, he got his during the pandemic, so it was pretty easy. Like I said, it was worth it for me to get Carlos global entry for sure. The Rascals does not like to wait in lines. I waited in all my lines when I was in the military, and I feel like I shouldn't have to wait in very many of them anymore. All right, guys. I said we were going to do this a little later, but I don't think we're going to quite make it. So we've been on an hour and a half. I think we had a great live. We had a ton of input and a ton of comments. So I appreciate it. But I'm going to wrap this up in a couple minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes. So if you have any questions, put them in there and I'll answer them or we'll get them out there. If not, I super appreciate all you guys stopping by. And I will be putting out the live schedule in the next year. It won't be once a week, but we are going to continue to do some lives because I have a lot of fun doing them. And it seems like you guys like to participate in them. Yeah, Chase says his girlfriend had to wait 6 months for global entry. But it doesn't matter how long you have to wait. It's worth it, especially if one of your cards is paying for it. No problem, the Rascals. We definitely like doing the lives, and Carlos loves it too. The Platinum OG's going to New Orleans. Man, just saying New Orleans it really is our favorite city. We haven't been there in a while, so can't wait to go. Thank you, mostly free travel. Random Bajoka is going to cancel his Amex Gold next month, and he feels relieved. I believe you. I'm pretty sure I'm heading in that direction. I just have to, I got some time to wait, but I think I'm going in a different direction than using all those credits and the awesome gold card. Question: if applied for TSA pre-check, can I apply global entry and get credit? If you've already applied for TSA pre-check, you probably got credited for that. So I don't think you'll get, unless you have another card. The pro tip is if you get global entry, it comes with TSA pre-check. So even though it's a huge pain in the butt, like some people have mentioned, it's worth it to get both of those programs. Thank you, John. Appreciate the compliment. Philmo, thank you, sir. These are possible because of you guys, and I appreciate you. Keith S says, have an Amex Gold cancellation party. His is getting canceled next month. Awesome. What dates are folks thinking for Labor Day weekend? What's the points? And I know a lot of creators and a lot of people have already booked, which is crazy. Stan the Credit Fog has the best emojis. Jesus, thank you, sir. Jesus. Oh, Stan's going to cancel the gold in April. I think that's when mine's up. So maybe we will all get together and chat them at the same time. Vincent, thank you, sir. Oh, John just did a video. John has a channel, guys. Check out John's channel. He's done an explanation on why he's keeping his gold. I did 2 or 3 of those videos on why I'm keeping it, and it makes a lot of sense. There's no better points generating card out there, in my opinion, for somebody who can spend at grocery stores. But I am just going to be so relieved to go in a different direction. David Ruiz is going to film us doing a live card cutting ceremony. Really shouldn't celebrate it too much. I'm still a big fan of American Express, and I have benefited quite a bit from that gold card. All right, guys, 1 hour, 35 minutes. We're going to go ahead and cut the cord. Like I said, I appreciate all you guys. Slap that like button before you go. And if you want, check out the links in the description. See you next time.